Imagine the noise of 1,000 slamming metal lockers, the distinct smell of cafeteria pizza, and the bright, hot light of an overhead projector. For any 90s kid in America, these are the sights and sounds of school. Before smartphones, Chromebooks, and TikTok, your school life was defined by entirely different things. Things that might seem strange today, but are full of pure nostalgia for us. Are you ready for a trip back to the early 1990s? We are diving into 7 curiosities from American schools that every 90s kid will instantly recognize. Trust me, you are going to want a trapper-keeper for this journey. The reign of decorated lockers. Your locker in an American school in the early 1990s was so much more than a place to store heavy books and your coat. It was your private sanctuary and your first social media profile. This was the Instagram feed of the analog era, your chance to showcase your personality to everyone in the hallway. It was absolute sacrilege to leave the interior of your locker door blank. Instead, it was an art gallery dedicated to your favorite things. You'd see posters clipped from magazines of teen heartthrobs like New Kids on the Block, or maybe grunge icons like Nirvana or Guns N' Roses. There were dozens of photos of you and your friends, captured by your disposable camera and eagerly developed at the local pharmacy. You would also find magnetic mirrors, keychains from vacation trips, and maybe even a few stick-on notes from a crush. But perhaps the most nostalgic memory associated with these metal giants is not a visual one, it is the sound. The sudden, earth-shaking, unified slam of hundreds of metal doors simultaneously closing as students rush to their next class is the true soundtrack of a 1990s American high school. It was chaotic, loud, and completely unforgettable. The ubiquitous overhead projector. Before smartboards, Chromebooks, and digital presentations, the absolute pinnacle of classroom technology in 1990 was the overhead projector. This large, clunky box with a flat glass top and a glowing lamp was a staple of any American classroom. Teachers would use transparent plastic sheets, known simply as transparencies, and colorful wet erase markers to display notes, diagrams, and mathematical problems. The distinct, whirring hum of the internal cooling fan and the intense, hot light projected onto the pull-down white screen, or sometimes just a blank wall, are integral memories for any student. The moment a teacher rolled this machine into the center of the room, you knew it was time for a serious lecture. And who could forget the slightly nauseating smell of the special markers as the teacher frantically wiped away old notes with a damp cloth, leaving behind telltale colorful smudges on their fingers and the transparency itself. It was an analog predecessor to PowerPoint that defined an entire era of academic instruction. The Oregon Trail in the computer lab. If your American school was lucky enough to have a dedicated computer lab in 1990, it was likely filled with rows of clunky Apple II or early Macintosh computers. This was not a place for advanced coding or internet research. This was the place for specialized educational software that felt more like a reward than learning. The undisputed king of this digital realm was the Oregon Trail. This simulation game, with its blocky green graphics and simple text, transported you to the American West in 1848. The primary goal was to guide your party of pioneers from Missouri to Oregon without running out of food, losing all your oxen, or having your entire family perish from a terrible, incurable disease. For any 1990s kid, the great tragedy of their digital childhood was seeing the dreaded green text message, "You have died of dysentery." It was a brutal lesson in history and resource management, but also the most fun you could have during the school day. Along with, "Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?" These games introduced a generation to computer-based storytelling and critical thinking. Mead 5-Star and the iconic Trapper Keepers. In 1990, your social standing in the classroom was often determined by one thing: your Trapper Keeper. These oversized, 3-ring binders were the ultimate status symbol of organization and personal style. Featuring radical neon colors, wild geometric patterns, or even licensed artwork from professional sports leagues, a Trapper Keeper was a masterpiece of Velcro-sealed engineering. Opening one in a quiet classroom created a distinct, loud rip sound that everyone recognized instantly. Inside, you had specialized folders for every subject and, of course, the legendary Mead 5-Star spiral notebooks. These notebooks were famous for being indestructible, with plastic covers and reinforced edges that could actually survive an entire school year shoved at the bottom of a backpack. For a student in 1990, having a fresh Trapper Keeper and a stack of 5-star paper meant you were ready to conquer anything from algebra to world history with total 90s swagger. Cafeteria culture. The legendary Pizza Friday. The American school cafeteria was a world of its own, but one day stood above all others. Pizza Friday. This wasn't just any pizza. It was a very specific, mass-produced culinary icon that every 90s kid remembers. Served in perfectly uniform rectangular slices, the crust was thick and doughy, the cheese was slightly rubbery, and the pepperoni was often chopped into tiny, salty cubes. Despite, or perhaps because of, its unique texture, it was the highlight of the week. To wash it down, you had the classic cardboard milk carton, either whole, 2%, or the coveted chocolate milk. Opening these cartons was an art form in itself, as you had to carefully peel back the glued paper tabs without ripping the spout into a soggy mess. Sitting it long, folding tables with your friends, trading your apple for someone's pudding cup, and enjoying that rectangular slice of heaven was the peak of the 1990 school experience. The magic of Scholastic Book Fairs. Nothing sparked pure electricity in the hallways of a 1990 American school like the arrival of the Scholastic Book Fair. For one glorious week, the library or a section of the gym was transformed into a pop-up bookstore filled with metal rolling cases overflowing with treasures. It wasn't just about the books. Though series like Goosebumps or The Babysitter's Club were massive hits, it was about the cool stationery. Kids would save up their allowance for weeks just to buy neon-colored erasers that smelled like fruit, giant multicolor pens with 10 different ink clickers, and those oversized posters of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, or adorable kittens in baskets. Walking into the book fair with a $10 bill made you feel like a high roller. It was the one day of the year where consumerism and education met in a blur of glossy paper and the scent of brand new books, creating a core memory for every 90s student. PE class and the President's Challenge. In 1990, physical education, PE, came with a very specific, high-stakes ritual. The Presidential Physical Fitness Test. Every student in America had to face this gauntlet of exercises designed to measure their fitness against national standards. From the dreaded sit and reach flexibility test to the frantic 1-mile run around the school track, the pressure was on. You'd find yourself doing as many sit-ups as possible in 1 minute while a classmate held your feet, or struggling through the flexed arm hang on a pull-up bar. The ultimate goal? To earn the Presidential Physical Fitness Award, a certificate featuring the signature of President George H.W. Bush. Wearing that patch or bringing that certificate home was a massive point of pride, even if the actual process of getting it involved a lot of sweat, heavy breathing, and the distinct squeak of sneakers on a polished gym floor. From the smell of those fruit-scented erasers at the book fair to the terrifying beep of the fitness test, school in the early 90s was a wild ride we'll never forget. But now it's your turn. Which of these 7 things was your absolute favorite? Are you still haunted by the words, "You have died of dysentery," or do you still have your old Trapper Keeper hidden in a box somewhere? Drop a comment below, and let's relive those hallway memories together. If this video brought back some good vibes, hit that like button and subscribe to join our nostalgic journey. Class dismissed. See you in the next video.